Life is full of transitions, some exciting, others daunting. Whether it's a new job, a move, or a season of uncertainty, how do we trust God in times of change? The Israelites faced the ultimate transition when they entered the Promised Land. Let's explore what their journey teaches us about stepping into new beginnings with faith. Welcome to our daily devotion for Sunday, March 9th. Our Bible verse today is from Deuteronomy chapter 26, starting at verse 1 through to verse 2. When you have come into the land that the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance to possess, and you possess it, and settle in it, you shall take some of the first of all the fruit of the ground, which you harvest from the land that the Lord your God is giving you, and you shall put it in a basket, and go to the place that the Lord your God will choose as a dwelling for his name. This is the word of the Lord. A reflection for today. Change can be unsettling. Even when it's something we've prayed for, stepping into the unknown requires trust. The Israelites knew this feeling well. After 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, they finally stood at the threshold of the Promised Land. But before they settled in, God commanded them to bring the first fruits of the land as an offering, an act of gratitude and trust. It's a powerful reminder that even in times of uncertainty, gratitude anchors us. When we recognize that everything we have comes from God, we step forward with faith instead of fear. I remember a time when I faced a major transition, one I had prayed for, but wasn't entirely ready for when it arrived. The excitement of something new was mixed with doubts. Would I be able to handle it? Had I really heard God correctly? It was easy to focus on what was unknown instead of remembering all the ways God had been faithful before. The Israelites could have responded in fear. After all, the Promised Land wasn't empty. There were battles to fight, adjustments to make, and challenges ahead. But instead of dwelling on what might go wrong, they were called to bring their first harvest to God, acknowledging his faithfulness. How often do we do the same? When we step into something new, do we focus on our uncertainty, or do we acknowledge God's provision? New seasons, whether a change in job, a shift in relationships, or an unexpected life challenge, can make us feel like we're walking into unfamiliar territory. But just as God went ahead of the Israelites, preparing the land for them, he goes ahead of us, preparing the way. Think back to a time when you experienced a major change. How did God sustain you through it? Perhaps he provided reassurance through a kind word, opened an unexpected door, or simply gave you the strength to keep going. If you've been through a transition where you saw God's hand at work, share your story in the comments. The Israelites' story teaches us that transitions aren't just about what's ahead, but about remembering who has brought us this far. No matter what changes come, God is already there, leading us into his perfect plan. A prayer for today. Loving and faithful God, we are grateful for your presence in every season of our lives. In moments of change, when the road ahead feels uncertain, remind us that you are always one step ahead, preparing the way before us. May we walk forward with confidence, knowing that your plans are good. There are times when fear threatens to overshadow faith, when we hesitate at the threshold of something new. Give us courage, Lord, to trust in your promises. Teach us to lean on you in every transition, bringing our first fruits, our gratitude, our faith, our surrender, before you as an offering of trust. May our hearts be open to the new beginnings you bring. Shape us into people who embrace change with joy, knowing that every step forward is a step deeper into your love. Amen. During Lent, set aside a moment each day to reflect on the countless blessings God has poured into your life. Today, take time to thank God for the seasons of change you've already walked through, and trust Him for the ones ahead. Although our time here has drawn to a close, the message of God's love goes with you. Step into the world with hearts ready to serve and hands prepared to give. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. In the name of Christ, amen.